What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, May 26th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to the sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Seth Curry, Trae Young, Bojan Bogdanovic. I almost said Bogdan. It's not really helpful that they're playing on the same slate. Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. Coming in at number 5, we're going to the shooting guard position. We're grabbing $9,500 Bradley BEAL. He's projected for 45. The goal is 55, and he is in the optimal lineup 39% of the time. We kind of know exactly what's going to happen here with BEAL. He's going to play 40 minutes, close to 1.1 fantasy points per minute, and he's going to shoot a lot. 33% usage, 31 real points, 4.5 assists, 4.5 boards. Maybe you get a steal. Now, it's a pace neutral spot, oddly enough, against Philly. Philly's just fast enough that they're basically like a league average team. However, Philly, quite a bit better on the defensive end than most other teams in the NBA. So you do have to worry at least a little bit about the Philly defense just holding down Washington in general. But at 9,500, for someone with Beal's scoring upside and the fact that he is surely going to play 40 minutes today, barring injury, the raw point ceiling is too high to ignore. At number 4, we head to New York and we get point guard Derrick Rose. He's 5,900, projected for 31. The goal is about 41, and he is in the optimal lineup 41% of the time. This one's going to be tricky. I'm not entirely sure that the Knicks starting lineup looks the same way that it normally does. Rose played monstrous minutes off the bench last time. I think that might end up having to change if they want him to play those minutes all the time. It's just really hard to guarantee minutes when you don't play that first rotation. So for right now, I've got him in for 32 minutes. I think that number could be more. I wouldn't be surprised if Elfrid Payton was out of the starting lineup. Now, it could just as easily be quickly. That's not going to matter. Derrick Rose is playing north of 30 minutes today, no matter what, and he's going to be a really nice value at 5,900. He's basically a fantasy point per minute guy with 25% usage. We're looking at 17, 5, and 3, plus a steal. It's a pace down spot, oddly enough, against Atlanta. This is just a slow, sort of plodding-ish game. That doesn't really matter to me on a 3-game slate. I'm getting a Derrick Rose that is likely playing 32 minutes, potentially playing upwards of 36 if this game breaks correctly. He's at sub 6K. I'm taking the guy that's going to be looking for his own shot. Now, you're going to need to find value somewhere. In the first place I want to go is power forward eligible Royce O'Neal. He's only 4K, projected for 21. The goal is 33. He's in the optimal lineup 45% of the time. This one's never going to be fun, but you're grabbing minutes at a relatively cheap price tag. 0.65 fantasy points per minute. It's never going to be a good time. 10% usage, 7 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, a stock and a half. Now, it is a slight pace up spot against Memphis, but what we're really saying here is there's not a ton of value out there on the slate. How can we buy minutes in the cheapest way possible? Royce O'Neal is that kind of guy. At number 2, we're heading to Philly, power forward spot, $7,400 Tobias Harris. I've got him projected for 38. The goal is 46.5, and he is in the optimal lineup 48% of the time. I think Harris plays 36 minutes. I don't think these guys are going to get run into the ground all that much in this series, but what you're lacking in that 40-minute upside that I think we see in some of the other teams, you're gaining in pace. In fact, they gain 5.6 possessions over their average by taking on the Wizards. That's massive. We're talking about like an extra 2.5 fantasy points for someone like Tobias Harris. He's just north of a fantasy point per minute guy, just slightly north of average usage, 23%. 21 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, a steal, a block. I really like getting to Harris. I really like all 3 of the big 3 for the Sixers. Harris, Embiid, Ben Simmons. I would not recommend playing all 3 in the same lineup. I think that's too much salary allocated. So max 2 of 3 on those guys. But right now, Tobias Harris is firmly in the 2 spot. Now, before we get to that number 1 contender, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Only place you're going to get the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section. I need your favorite, least favorite, and the contender that you think should have been on this list that you don't see. We're staying in Philly for the #1 contender, but it's not who you think. It's small forward Danny Green. He's 4,100, projected for 22.5. The goal's 33. He's in the optimal lineup 55% of the time. This shows you, one, what the small forward position looks like in general, because he's making up more than a quarter of the exposure. I have him playing 30 minutes, 0.75 fantasy points per minute. So he's a bit better on a per minute basis than someone like Royce O'Neal. 10 points. 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 stocks. It's not a lot of usage, but again, you know what you're getting here. You need to pay down somewhere in order to unlock some of the pay up options on the slate. To get to Russell Westbrook, you got to pay down somewhere. I think paying down with someone like Danny Green at small forward is going to be essential on a day like today. So, Danny Green is the #1 contender on today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, May 26th. Gets it. Whew, good stuff. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. DraftKings version of this video exists as well. Strategy show at 10 a.m. with Laffy, where we break down all 3 games. And then I will be back tonight from 6 to 7, live before lock with Greg Ehrenberg. Should be a good time. Good luck tonight, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. I will talk to you again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.